Martina Mariea Schiff, known professionally as Martina McBride, is an American country music singer and songwriter. McBride has been called the Celine Dion of country music for her big-voiced ballads and soprano range. McBride was signed to RCA Nashville in 1991, and made her debut the following year as a neo-traditionalist country singer with the single, "The Time Has Come." Over time, she developed a pop-styled crossover sound, similar to that of Shania Twain and Faith Hill, and has had a string of major hit singles on the Billboard country chart and occasionally on the adult contemporary chart. 5 of these singles went to number 1 on the country chart between 1995 and 2001, and one peaked at number 1 on the adult contemporary chart in 2003. McBride has recorded a total of 12 studio albums, 2 greatest hits compilations, 1 live album, as well as 2 additional compilation albums. 8 of her studio albums and 2 of her compilations have received an RCA Gold certification, or higher. In the U.S., she has sold over 14 million albums. In addition, McBride has won the Country Music Association's Female Vocalist of the Year award 4 times and the Academy of Country Music's Top Female Vocalist award 3 times. She is also a 14-time Grammy Award nominee. Early life: McBride was born Martina Mariea Schiff in Sharon, Kansas, to Darrell and Jan Schiff. She has 2 brothers, Martin and Steve, who currently play in her concert band, and a sister, Gina. Martina's father, who was a farmer and cabinetry shop owner, exposed Martina to country music at a young age. Listening to country music helped her acquire a love for singing. After school, she would spend hours singing along to the records of such popular artists as Reba McEntire, Linda Ronstadt, Juice Newton, Jean Pruitt, Connie Smith and Patsy Cline. Around the age of 8 or 9, Martina began singing with a band her father fronted, the Shifters. As Schiff grew older, her role in the band progressively increased, from simply singing, to also playing keyboard with them. She enjoyed performing in her early years. Martina began performing with a local rock band, the Penetrators, in Wichita instead. Then, in 1987, Schiff gathered a group of musicians called Lotus and started looking for rehearsal space. She began renting space from a studio engineer named John McBride. In 1988, the two married. After marrying, the couple moved to Nashville, Tennessee in 1989 with the hope of beginning a career in country music. John McBride joined Garth Brooks's sound crew and later became his concert production manager. Martina occasionally joined her husband on the road and helped sell Garth Brooks souvenirs. In 1990, impressed by Martina's enthusiastic spirit, Brooks offered her the position of his opening act provided she could obtain a recording contract. During this time, while her husband was working with country artists Charlie Daniels and Ricky Van Shelton, he also helped produce her demo tape, which helped her gain a recording contract with RCA Nashville Records in 1991. Music career: 1992–1995, The Time Has Come and The Way That I Am. McBride released her debut studio album through the RCA Nashville label in 1992, titled The Time Has Come. It was produced by Paul Worley and Ed Sy. This album's title track made number 23 on the country music charts, but the next 2 singles both failed to make top 40. Unlike her later country pop-influenced albums, The Time Has Come featured honky-tonk and country folk influences. The Way That I Am was the title of McBride's second album. Its first 2 singles both brought her into the country top 10, My Baby Loves Me peaked at number 2, and Life No. 9 at number 6. The third single, Independence Day, did not reach the top 10 because many radio programmers objected to the song's subject of a mother fighting back against abuse by burning the family home to the ground. Independence Day won Video of the Year and Song of the Year at the Country Music Association Awards. It also earned the song's composer, Gretchen Peters, a nomination for the Grammy Award for Best Country Song. McBride performed the song at the 1995 Grammys ceremony. The 4th and 5th singles from The Way That I Am were less successful. Heart Trouble peaked at number 21, and Where I Used to Have a Heart fell short of top 40. 1995 1999, Wild Angels and Evolution, released in 1995, Wild Angels accounted for another top 5 hit in Safe in the Arms of Love, and her first number 1 hit in the album's title track. However, the 3 follow-ups, Phones Are Ringing All Over Town, Swingin' Doors, and Cry on the Shoulder of the Road were less successful, reaching the lower regions of the top 40. In early 1997, after Cry on the Shoulder of the Road peaked, McBride released 2 duets. Still Holding On, a duet with Clint Black which was the lead-off single to his album Nothing But the Taillights, and Valentine with Jim Brickman which appeared on his album Picture This. After these 2 songs were released, she had her second number 1 on the country charts with A Broken Wing, the lead-off to her album Evolution. This album went on to produce 4 more top 10 hits at country radio, a re-release of Valentine, Happy Girl, Wrong Again, and Whatever You Say. Towards the end of 1998, the album was certified double platinum in sales by the Recording Industry Association of America for selling 2 million units. In addition, she also won the Country Music Association Awards Female Vocalist of the Year award in 1999 and also performed for President Bill Clinton during the same time. Also in 1998, McBride released a Christmas album titled White Christmas, which featured a rendition of Oh Holy Night that first charted in 1997 and continued to re-enter the charts until 2001. She also sang a guest vocal on Jason Seller's mid-1998 single This Small Divide. 1999 2003, Emotion and Greatest Hits, McBride's 6th studio album, Emotion, was released in 1999. Its lead single, I Love You, reached number 1 on the Billboard country charts in 1999, and also crossed over to the adult contemporary chart. The song's follow-ups, Love's the Only House, and There You Are, both made top 10 at country radio, and It's My Time peaked at number 11. In 2001, she released her first compilation, Greatest Hits. This album has been certified 3A platinum in sales by the Recording Industry Association of America, and is her highest-selling album. It included most of her major hits to that point, and the album track Strangers from the album The Way That I Am, which she put on the album because she felt that it should have been a single. The album also included 4 new songs, all of which made top 10 on the country music charts between 2001 and 2003, When God-Fearing Women Get the Blues, Blessed, Where Would You Be, and Concrete Angel. Carolyn Dawn Johnson sang backing vocals on Blessed. Conversely, McBride sang backing vocals on Johnson's late 2000 debut single, titled Georgia. Late in 2002, McBride also sang backing vocals on Andy Griggs's single Practice Life. 2003 2005, Martina. In 2003, McBride released her 7th studio album, Martina, which celebrated womanhood. The first single, This One's for the Girls, went to number 3 on the country charts and became her only number 1 hit on the adult contemporary charts. It also included backing vocals from Faith Hill, Carolyn Dawn Johnson, and McBride's daughters, Delaney and Emma. Follow-up single In My Daughter's Eyes was also a top 5 hit at both country and adult contemporary. How Far, and God's Will from the same album both made top 20 at country radio, as did her guest appearance on Jimmy Buffett's single Trip Around the Sun, whose chart run overlapped that of God's Will. In 2004, McBride won the CMA's Female Vocalist Award for the 4th time, following the wins in 2003, 2002 and 1999, which tied her for the most wins in that category with Reba McEntire. 2005 2008, Timeless and Waking Up Laughing. After finding success in country pop-styled music, McBride released her next studio album, Timeless, in 2005, which consisted of country covers. The album included cover versions of country music standards, such as Hank Williams' You Win Again, Loretta Lynn's You Ain't Woman Enough, and Chris Christopherson's Help Me Make It Through the Night. To make the album fit its older style, McBride and her husband hired older Nashville session players and outdated analog equipment. The album sold over 250,000 copies within its first week, the highest sales start for a McBride album. The lead single, a cover of Lynn Anderson's I Never Promised You a Rose Garden, went to number 18 on the country charts, but the other two singles both failed to make top 40. In 2006, McBride served as a guest coach on Canadian Idol. The remaining 5 finalists traveled to Nashville, where McBride worked with the competitors on the songs they had chosen by country artists such as Gordon Lightfoot and Patsy Cline. Among the other guest judges that year were Nelly Furtado and Cyndi Lauper. McBride later joined Canadian Idol on a tour in the spring. In 2007, McBride also served as a guest coach on Fox Network's television series, American Idol. In 2007, McBride released her 9th studio album, Waking Up Laughing. It was the first album in which McBride co-wrote some of the tracks. She set up her Waking Up Laughing tour in 2007, which included country artists Rodney Atkins, Little Big Town, and Jason Michael Carroll. The album's lead single, Anyway, went to number 5 on the Billboard country chart, becoming her first top 10 hit since 2003. Its follow-up, How I Feel, reached the top 15. In spring 2008, McBride released Martina McBride, Live in Concert, a CD-DVD set. It was taped in Moline, Illinois in September 2007. In July 2007, the ABC television network announced a special program called 6 Degrees of Martina McBride, where individuals from around the country were challenged to find their way to McBride on their own connections and research using a maximum of 6 methods. The winner of this challenge eventually located a direct connection to McBride through her husband, John, who knew someone else. McBride recently recorded an electronically produced duet with Elvis Presley, performing his song Blue Christmas as a duet with him on his latest compilation, the Elvis Presley Christmas Duets. A compilation collection, titled Playlist, The Very Best of Martina McBride, was released on December 16, 2008, as part of Sony BMG Playlist series. The album features 11 previously released tracks and 3 unreleased tracks. 2008–2010, Shine, McBride wrapped up production of her 10th studio album in late 2008. The first single, Ride, was released to radio in October 2008 and debuted at No. 43 on the Hot Country Songs chart. It barely missed the top 10 on the chart, peaking at number 11 in March 2009. A music video produced by Kristen Barlow was also released at the end of the year. The album, Shine, was released by RCA Records on March 24, 2009, and debuted at the top of the U.S. country album chart and number 10 on the Billboard 200. McBride co-produced the album with Dan Huff, and it featured Sunny Side Up, a song that she co-wrote. The second single, I Just Call You Mine, was released in May 2009 and reached a top 20. The third single from Shine was Wrong Baby Wrong, which the Warren brothers co-wrote with Robert Ellis Orrell and Love and Theft member Stephen Barker Lyles. McBride also initiated the Shine All Night Tour, a co-headlining venture with fellow country star and friend Trace Adkins and opening act Sarah Buxton. The tour began in November 2009 and ended in May 2010. On June 10, 2010, Billboard announced that McBride had collaborated on a song with Kid Rock. In late June 2010, McBride was nominated for a Teen Choice Award, Favorite Country Female Artist, alongside country stars Carrie Underwood, Miranda Lambert, Taylor Swift and Gretchen Wilson. In late 2010, McBride was nominated for 2 American Country Awards along with the ACA nominations. She received her 14th Female Vocalist nomination for Country Music Association in October 2010. A Euro Present, 11 and Everlasting. McBride exited RCA in November 2010 and signed with Republic Nashville. She began working on a new studio album with producer Byron Gallimore. Her first single for Republic Nashville is Teenage Daughters, which she also co-wrote with the Warren brothers. McBride told Country Weekly that she co-wrote 8 of the 11 songs on the album. She decided to write more frequently because she felt more confident in her songwriting ability after Anyway had become a hit. An album track, One Night, was released as a promotion for NASCAR with a music video in June 2011. I'm Gonna Love You Through It was released as the album's second single on July 25, 2011. The song became a critical and commercial hit, peaking at number 4 and becoming her first top 5 hit since 2006's Anyway. The album, titled 11, was released on October 11, 2011. Its third single was a cover of Twain's Marry Me, recorded as a duet with Twain lead singer Pat Manahan. In September 2011, McBride was nominated for the CMA's Female Vocalist Award for the 15th time, and 14th time consecutively. RCA Records released 2 compilation albums in 2012, Hits and More in January and The Essential Martina McBride in October. McBride released Everlasting, a collection of R&B and soul covers, on April 8, 2014 via Cobalt Label Services. The album includes duets with Kelly Clarkson and Gavin DeGraw, and was produced by Don Was. In September 2014, McBride received her 17th Female Vocalist nomination from the Country Music Association. This feat ties her with Reba McEntire for most nominations in any vocalist category. Charity work. McBride works with a variety of charities. She is currently the spokeswoman for the National Domestic Violence Hotline as well as for the National Network to End Domestic Violence and national spokeswoman for the Tulsa Domestic Violence and Intervention Services. Every year since 1995, she has hosted Middle Tennessee's YWCA Celebrity Auction, and it has raised nearly $400,000 so far. In 2004, she worked with Kids Wish Network to fulfill the wish of a young girl dying from muscular dystrophy. McBride was awarded the Minipal Humanitarian Award in 2003. McBride explained that educating girls and women on domestic violence is something she works on at home with her own daughters, stating that, McBride has also teamed up with Love Lies Respect, National Teen Dating Abuse Helpline, working with them on a new program called, My Time to Shine. McBride appeared on the Stand Up to Cancer telethon in September 2010, where she performed Unchained Melody with Leona Lewis, Aaron Neville, and Stevie Wonder. Also in 2010, she hosted the YWCA for the 16th consecutive year, raising over $50,000. It totals over $500,000 raised so far. Personal life. McBride has been married to sound engineer John McBride since May 15, 1988. The couple has 3 daughters, Delaney Catherine, Emma Justine, and Ava Rose Kathleen. Discography. Tours, headlining, Greatest Hits, Joy of Christmas, Timeless, Waking Up Laughing, Everlasting, co-headlining, Virginia Slims on the Legends, Lilith Fair, Girls Night Out, Shine All Night, 11 Tour, as supporting act, Garth Brooks, Brooks and Dunn, Tim McGraw, Alan Jackson, George Strait. Awards and nominations. McBride has received numerous major music awards, including most wins for the Country Music Association Award for Female Vocalist of the Year, with her 4th win in 2004. She holds the record in that category for most consecutive nominations. She has been nominated for 14 Grammy Awards, but has never won. Grammy Awards. Note: in 1995, McBride was one of the various artists featured on the album Amazing Grace, a country salute to gospel, which won the Grammy Award for Best Southern, Country or Bluegrass Gospel Album. This award went to the compilation album's producer Bill Hearn, and not to the artists. Other awards, references. External links, official website, Martina McBride at the Internet Movie Database, Martina McBride on MySpace.